Chris Davies, he's still working out his starting 11. He's still working out his favourite team. I think we're still finding our championship identity. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Friday evening, Birmingham City head to Wrexham in a game in which we are quite familiar with from playing Wrexham twice in League One last season. Now, of course, the media and everything you read on social media is all about the NFL and the Hollywood, but we're going to keep it all about the football in this podcast. And we're going to discuss the game, what we might expect, lineup-wise, and also give a score prediction at the end. So, Dad, a loaded question, but tough game on Friday, isn't it?
I think very tough. This is obviously, I think Wrexham have recruited very well in the summer, and they're starting to find a bit of form. Like you mentioned as well about this hype that goes with this game that we had last season. I think now that Wrexham are in a league with all the teams are like the size of us, really.
It's fizzled out a bit this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, thankfully, because I don't like it. I know it's part and parcel of the American ownership, and I get that, and I get the camaraderie and the linkage between that. But like you said, it is about the football. As I said, I think this game in particular is one I think this will be a tough one for us because of our current form and their form.
It's not just that, Dad. It's the way Wrexham play.
Yeah,
because they're quite direct. We have struggled, haven't we, with teams that get balls in the box?
I think they've changed their style a little bit. They do play direct, but they're not as direct as they were last season. From what I've seen, with the players they've got now, they do try and play a little bit of football. And Phil Parkinson has actually been more flexible with their formation. But if you look at their current form, they started the season well. I mean, in the last 6 games, they've only lost 1 in the Championship. They lost their first 2 games away to Southampton, which again is 2-1. They was unlucky because Southampton scored 2 late goals.
2 90-plus goals.
Yeah, and then they lost 3-2 at home to West Brom. I watched that game. I watched that on the coach on the way to.
It's Blackburn, was it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and then they drew 2-2 at home to Sheffield Wednesday, which we've just done. We just drew 2-2 at Sheffield Wednesday. Then they're fantastic. I mean, they've only won twice, but they're great away wins at Millwall and at Norwich. 3-2 at Norwich and 2-0 at Millwall. They lost at home to Queen's Park Rangers. In the last 2 games, they've drawn 1-1 at home to Derby and 1-1 away to Leicester, which I think is a fabulous result because we lost at Leicester, didn't we? Yeah. So I think they've shown already.
What do you do with that, though, Dad? How random is that spread?
Yeah.
Some really odd losses and draws, but some great wins.
Yeah.
So they clearly strike me as a team who are settling into Championship
football. I think that's exactly what it shows me too. That with the look at the opposition and the results, they've clearly adjusting nicely to the Championship. And 1 loss in 6, although only 2 wins in that because the rest have been draws, is still solid and against good teams as well. I do think this will be tough. I think we'll come on to our team just in a moment, but I think for. That it's a good time for them to play us, but they haven't won at home yet.
Which is odd because of their home form last season, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, again, this is a completely massive step up into a different league, and I think they're finding that out. But I think it's a good time for them to play us, and again, there's no excuse, we just literally are still finding our way as well in the Championship and trying to work out our best formations and.
I'd agree with that. I think we referenced on the Sheffield Wednesday video that, didn't we, that Chris Davies is still working out his starting 11. He's still working out his favourite team. I think we're still finding our Championship identity.
Yes, no, without a doubt, and I think Wrexham are also doing that. But I'm not gonna go through their positions. I'm just gonna name the players or some of the players they've brought in over the summer to show you what they've got now. Nathan Broadhead, Ben Sheaf, Callum Doyle, Lewis O'Brien, Dominic Hyam, Liberato Kakase, Kiefer Moore, Cody Connor, George Thompson, Ryan Hardy, Josh Windass, Danny Ward, Issa Kabore, good player, and Ruben Egan, goalkeeper. I mean,
decent recruitment, isn't it?
I think they've had a fantastic recruitment. I do, and and the good thing about these players that I've mentioned as well, that most of them are experienced Championship players.
How much did they spend, Dad? Have you got that figure?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, they spent 37.9 million. According to Transfer Market, based upon all those players that I've listed.
Fair play to them. What's wrong with showing a bit of ambition?
I think they had to, because they couldn't have come up and kept the same team that was in League One, because with the greatest respect, even though they got them promoted, that suited that style of play to get them out that league. But they knew coming to the Championship, some of the players they've let go, they've been there a long time, haven't they?
Yeah.
And there's players that's already there that they've got, like James McLean, Jack Merritt's got Sam Smith. He's still there. Ollie Rathbone, Max Cleworth. I think now these are a good, solid Championship team, and I think they'll do okay. Whether they will challenge, I think they'll be like us. I think they'll want to consolidate in this league this season, and I think they can with that squad. I don't think there'll be any danger of relegation.
I think in your first season, Dad, in the Championship, this goes for Blues and Wrexham. There's nothing wrong with finishing somewhere, again, this is a massive scope, but somewhere between 9th and 16th.
Yeah.
And then you push on next season.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as you're up there and you're battling hard and you're showing a bit of identity, you're winning games, you're predominantly winning a lot of your home games. You know, that's where you get a lot of your points, isn't it, in this league at home? And with your home form. So Wrexham will want to improve that for sure, but they'll be fine. Wrexham will have a good season. I have no doubt they'll be mid-table.
I think that we mentioned this in the post-match podcast we did against our last game at Sheffield Wednesday about the expectation at Blues was that, you know, we were hyped up so much, which was completely unrealistic, about the media saying we're going to get a double promotion and that we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Wrexham haven't had that, you know. I think Wrexham haven't had that level of hype this time. I think people have realised it for them. It's a massive step from where they've come from. But it's the same step for Blues because we've came from the same division. But that would mean that you know they're not under the pressure that we are, where our expectations are really, really high. Where we did say, if anybody watched our post-match Sheffield Wednesday podcast when we reviewed that game, we said that we think as Blues fans we need to readjust our expectations to almost have the same expectations as Wrexham, trying to consolidate this season. You know, have a decent season and then try and build again. I think that's where Wrexham are, and I think that they haven't. So I don't think they're under the pressure that we are because of the expectation isn't as high for them. They will want to get out of this league in a certain amount of time, but they will want to build. Yeah. If you look as well, Phil Parkinson, I've noticed obviously a lot of people when they started the season, they didn't start the season too well. They lost their first couple of games and drew the third game, and people already at that point were saying, "Is Phil Parkinson good enough for the Championship?" But actually, you know, if you look at his systems, he's used 3-4-2-1 3 times, 3-5-2, which was the common system he used in league. Only used that twice, and he's used 3-4-1-2. So basically, he's adapting his.
What's a common theme on these pre-match podcasts, Dad?
Adjustments. They can adjust.
Managers adjust their formations depending on who they're playing, and I don't think you should pay your opponent so much respect you completely adapt your game plan, but you have to play to your team's strengths and the opposition's weaknesses, don't you? And if that means you have to have a plan A, B, C, D, and change your formation slightly, so be it. There's no shame in that. That doesn't mean you're bending the knee to your opponent. It means you're smart.
I think you have to do that in this league, because all teams, all opposition will offer you something different, and you research that team and you set your team up to a style that accommodates so you can exploit their weaknesses. But we don't seem to have that, and this is what worries me about this game: is we are predictable. If you look at a game, you know, we don't change. You know, we play the same thing all the time, and it's very, very easy to play against because you can set your team up to mitigate against that. So, and we've spoken about the need for Chris Davies to look at what Phil Parkinson does, look at alternative formations. They're
Sorry, Dad, before you go into their strengths and stuff from this year, I think it's probably worth very, very quick 10 seconds just reflecting on last year's games. So, of course, that picture behind you where Awata and Paik are screaming, that was from the home game. Wrexham on the was it the Friday evening? Was it Friday evening?
I think it might have been a Thursday or a Friday.
It was a midweek evening game, but under the lights. Yeah, obviously it did have that NFL Hollywood drama.
I've got to be honest. As much as we mentioned the hype, that atmosphere was fantastic.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. And that was going to be my next note. The night we won 3-1 at St.Andrews was one of my favourite games of last season at home because it was great. You know, the Wrexham fans in the build-up, you know, were great with us on the channel, and when you meet them and talk to them, they're always a good laugh, and it was a good atmosphere. Beckham was there and all that sort of stuff. So that was great. And then, of course, away from home, we drew 1-1. And actually, if we're going to be honest about this, it was in the second half especially. They were only one of 3 teams to pin us in our own half. I think I only remember seeing it at Wrexham away, Stockport away, and Bolton away. Yeah. They're the only teams that managed to pin us in our own half. So I actually think we got away lightly with Wrexham away with a 1-1 draw. Yeah. But I think we were the full deserved winners for the 3-1 win at St.Andrews. So I think, you know, 4 points out of 6 against Wrexham last season was a good return. They're going to be a different animal and different opposition this season. A tough game, certainly, especially with the way they play. But yeah, looking back on last year, I look back especially at the St Andrews game quite fondly, and I'm glad that picture's up there because it's just reminded me of how good that night was.
Yeah, it was. Like you said, they're 2 completely different teams now, and it's going to be different games, different opposition. If you look at their goals scored, they've got the 3rd highest goal scored, equal with Hull. So Hull and them have scored 13 goals. There's only Bristol City with 14 and Coventry with 18.
Wow.
at the time of recording. Coventry played tonight, actually, by the time at the time of recording, so that might be added.
There's a few games tonight, isn't
Yeah,
there?
there's a couple of games tonight. So they're scoring goals. We're right down near the bottom, so we scored 7. So they scored 6 more goals than us.
Where's that put us in the goal scored table?
We're down in round about 17th or 18th. So basically, we're on 7 with Watford, and all that's below us is Blackburn and Millwall with 6, Portsmouth with 5, and Sheffield United with 3.
Wow. Okay.
Everybody else is above us. Defensively, though, this is where they are not good. They're sort of down their 5th worst defence. Well, equal 4th worst, actually, with Derby conceded 14 goals, whereas we have conceded 10 in our league games. So we're not. There's not a massive difference in the defence. So this has got the potential. What worries me is, again, we'll come on to this in a minute, in our team, is our lack of ability to score goals. That's what worries me, playing against Wrexham, who are going to probably pound us, I would have thought. Just in terms of their strength, obviously, I do like some of their new signings. I very much like Lewis O'Brien,
Nathan Broadhead,
Ben Sheaf as well.
Yeah.
I think they've recruited
Josh
very well.
Windass.
Yeah, the guy, and Kiefer Moore as well. A lot of people were like laughing at that one. I wasn't, because I thought, when he went from all the Sheffield United fans, so you got a donkey there, because I think they hold him accountable for the mistake that's led to the goal at Sunderland that they lost in the playoff final. But I think he's done exceptional, and he's a good target man.
I totally get that teams sometimes make a scapegoat, but that you had the whole season to get into the automatic places as a team. You had a full 90 minutes as a team. You're gonna say that you didn't get promoted because of Kiefer Moore.
Well, that's what I think.
It's a bit harsh,
and also as well, sometimes when a player does go, the team that is leaving, the fans, get on their back. Oh, he's rubbish. We'll drive him there and all that type of stuff. But I actually think Wrexham will be so pleased that they've got him,
Decent
because
player, Kiefer Moore.
he's their top scorer at the moment, and he's a proper target man for them. So we're going to have to watch him. I think Clara's going to have to manage him.
And there's no point in denying, Wrexham do like to get balls in the box. And I remember that I was working down south. This was League One last season, and I happened to be there, and a Wrexham fan happened to be there, and we were chatting. And I remember saying, you guys are really good at being direct and getting balls in the box. And he got so offended by it. But it was a compliment, because they're good at it. They were good last season at peppering the box, being direct, lots of balls in, set pieces they were dangerous from as well.
Whatever works.
Whatever works. But if you're good at it, it's a strength. I mean, I think he was coming at it like I was almost calling him a bit old-fashioned, maybe, because when you get balls in the box, it has the connotation of like the lower leagues maybe being direct. But I wasn't saying that at all. I was saying that they're good at getting balls in the box.
Yeah.
And what worries me is their biggest strength is our biggest weakness, I would say.
Yeah.
We struggle to defend against teams that get it over the top, teams that get balls in the box. I think we look
pieces.
We look vulnerable at set pieces. I think everything that comes down to a Wrexham strength, sadly, we look a little bit weak on at the moment.
Well, they like again. We saw this last season as well, and I think this is something they've maintained this season. They like attacking down the wings. Now, remember last season they had the likes of
McLean was out on the wide,
McLean on the left, and they had Ryan Barnett on the.
Yeah, I like Barnett,
but he's not even getting their team at the moment. They've got a player called Issa Kabore, who's effectively their right winger now, and they've got Ryan Longman as their left winger, and obviously they've got Josh Winder. I mean, in the last game against Leicester, which happened at the time of recording last night, he played 3-4-2-1. So he had Cleworth, Dominic Hyam, and Lewis Brunt as the 3 at the back, with Okonkwo in goal, and then the 4 were the two 60s were George Dobson and Ben Sheaf.
Yeah.
And then you had Kabore on the right and Longman on the left. Then they had the 2 were Windass and Lewis O'Brien, with Kiefer Moore up front.
Good team.
That is a good team, isn't it? But I like that formation, and I don't know why we don't do that 3-4-2-1, because we tend to stick with the same.
Because off the ball, it allows you to compress back into a 5, don't it? But then going forward, it allows you to get those flying wing. Because those 4. So you've got the 3 and the 4. The 2 out wide and the 4 are often the wing backs, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
So it allows you to be quite versatile, like the 4-2-3-1 does. So
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, and it's working, because Kiefer Moore's got 4 goals, Lewis O'Brien's got 3, and Josh Windass has 3. and Longman and Broadhead are both won. But assists so far in the league, Issa Kapoor's got 3 and Lewis O'Brien's got 2. They're going to be a dangerous team, and I say this fixture, based upon our current form, it does worry me, this game. But it would, any team we went to away at the moment would, because in our last 3 away games we've lost them all without scoring.
Yeah.
And,
but there's something about the way they play.
Leicester, Stoke, and Wrexham.
Yeah,
they're going to be aggressive at home, and they won't be frightened to come at us as well. They also like, they're very good at finishing scoring chances. So when they get the chances, they do tend to have a good conversion rate as well, and also good at coming back from losing positions. Now we've seen that in a few games this season, but also as well.
Actually, they've dropped a few leads.
I was going to say they can also do the reverse of that as well, and they're good at creating scoring chances and good at aerial duels. Their style of play, even though I have seen some of the snippets I've seen of them playing, and I've watched a couple of games, they do try and play the ball more now. They try and play a bit more in possession, but where they need to, they will play the long balls, which is what they're familiar and used to as well.
So for me, Dad, this game, from our perspective, if we're going to talk about the defensive side of the Blues game for the moment, we need to cut that supply off.
Yes.
Our fullbacks need to get close to their men. We need to stop balls getting in the box. Don't give away silly corners. Don't give silly free kicks. Don't give silly throw-ins. Don't allow Wrexham any chance to get the ball in the box.
No.
Cut off those supply lines. And I think sometimes, again, we allow teams too much width and we allow them to get on the ball. And we have struggled against pace down the wings this season.
And that's where they're strong. So,
exactly.
That's going to have to be looked at as well. But, they've got a few weaknesses. Defending against through balls, that's a weakness. And there's a few other ones as well. Defending against skillful players. So it could be a game potentially.
Patrick Roberts and Dimmy Gray, maybe.
Possibly even Kyogo, if he can get his goal-scoring boots on.
Take his wellies off.
Yeah, they're weak at protecting a lead, and they do allow teams to create chances. So they are beatable.
Yes, of course.
But I say the thing that worries me is our current form. What we've done in the last half a dozen games, it does actually sort of bother me a little bit.
No, agreed.
And we'll have to see. But do you fancy get onto the Blues then?
Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Dad, if I talked about Wrexham, I'd only be repeating the points that you've really referenced. But for me, just as a 30-second highlight overall, balls in the box, width, set pieces. We need to be careful. Cut off the supply line. Don't do anything silly. And I think we'll be okay. It's just we can't allow silly balls to go in the box because we do look vulnerable from time to time. So that's the big one for me.
Yeah.
But as you say, let's go on to the Blues, Dad.
Yeah. This is a difficult one because obviously this is our third game in 6 days, as it will be for Wrexham too. But our injuries, we've got a lot of injuries now. We've got Ethan Laird's injured. It looks like Bright's injured, so that's both our right backs gone, isn't it as well?
Yep.
Stano looked like he was hobbling at the end of the game.
He was.
Who else is missing? We've got a load of players missing, haven't we?
There is more, but my mind's eluding me.
Yeah, me too. So
maybe that'll come out as we talk through the team, Dad. Because so you do defence, Dad, and I'll do midfield and attack.
I hope this happens, and I don't think it will. Now, my worry is a right back, because if both Bright and Laird are both injured, who do we play at right back? Now, last season it would have been Taylor Gardner-Hickman. He's not there anymore. Therefore, I think this game warrants, and this is going to be radical, a change of formation.
Right, okay.
I think we should go 3 at the back. I think, in my opinion, I would go for Robinson, Clara, and Neumann as the back 3. So Robinson as the left-sided, Neumann as the right-sided, and Clara in the middle. Because who do you play at right back? So, and obviously Allsop in goal. Yeah. Although Allsop hasn't been brilliant over the last few games either, but I still think he'll start.
Davies hasn't shown us any sign yet or moving forward that he will change formation. So for the interest of this video, if we do pick the 4-2-3-1, which I think Davies is still going to stand by, what would be your right back in that scenario?
Well, the only right backs we have really are Samsted
or Neumann.
Or Neumann could play there as well. So he could play Neumann there.
I'd like Neumann there.
I hope it's not a Water again, like he did against in the last game.
Well, we couldn't get tickets to this because it didn't make it past Platinum Plus. So if Waters right back, I'm turning the telly off.
Well, we go as far as that, but I know what you're saying. But if both Bright and Laird are both, we know Laird's injured because he had a hamstring. So if Bright hobbled off, didn't he, against Sheffield Wednesday? So. It's going to have to be like Neumann. But the thing is, I don't think it'd be Samsted, because Samsted was on the bench against Sheffield Wednesday. So rather than bring him on, he put Water in that position.
He didn't bring Neumann on either, though.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a dilemma for us. This is why I think that maybe try a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
or 3-4-2-1, whichever one to do that.
Fair
And
dues.
I'd like to see that happen, but I agree with you if he goes for that. So in that respect, let's go for our normal formation then. I'd say
Yeah.
the backs would be Allsop
Yeah.
in goal.
Again, Dad, is there a shout for Beadle?
Yeah, there is, but I
Yeah.
don't think Chris Davis will do that.
Yeah.
But I think there is. But I'm going to go Allsop.
Yeah.
Cochrane on the left. I'll go for Robinson as the left-sided centre half with Clara, and then I'm going to go for Neumann then.
Yeah, fair dues. I think I'm same. Yeah, Allsop in goal, Cochrane, Robinson, Clara, Neumann. Yeah, I'd go for Neumann. The reason why I like Neumann on the right back position because he's fast.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about wing play from Wrexham, at least he brings that physicality. He's tall. He brings speed. He could really nullify their right-hand side, actually. Sorry, their left-hand side with him on the right, maybe. So I don't think that's a bad option. It all comes down to how Chris Davies perceives Neumann as a right back and whether he's.
I also think,
there.
Matt, if we were to, because they're quite a large physical team as well, right? Like up front, particularly lots of Kiefer Moore. So having all of them in there, having Robinson, Clara, and Neumann all at the back as a three, I think would be a good as well to nullify or to help to deal with their. But I hope that Chris Davis does look at things like that. But we know that he's not varied at all, has he?
No,
from the system. So let's just go with that. And then yeah.
I would say that's my criticism of Davies is that he doesn't adapt to the formation or the team strategy enough when things aren't going our way or when we need a bit of fresh energy.
Because if you do imagine you do play a three at the back, and if you've got a 4 or 5 in front of you, those 3 defenders are mainly defenders, but they're supporting the players going forward as well.
Yeah.
So it works really well. So even the 2 wingers then can also sit back when we need to defend as well. I think that would be a really good system to try for, but I think Chris Davis is going to stick
with the 4-2-3-1.
With the 4-2-3-1. So that's my back line anyway.
Okay, cool. So in the 4-2-3-1 then, so with the midfield and the attack, I'm actually going to go for a bit of a change in the middle, Dad, and I don't think this is what Chris Davis will pick. This is what I want to see. I'm just going to go with that one for this podcast. And, I've said quite regularly that Iwata needs to be in the centre midfield because he's the break-up man, he's the physical man, he's a different kind of player to Paik and Tommy Doyle and Mark Leonard. But actually, I'm going to mix this up a little bit. I'm going to go for Tommy Doyle and Paik. I'm going to put them both in the mix in that centre mid. I want to see a bit more creativity. No Iwata.
That's very interesting.
I want to see a bit more progressiveness moving forward. And will that nullify a little bit of physicality in the middle? Of course it will. But I don't think Iwata's really shown us as much this season as he did last. I think we need something different. And by the way, I could put my hands up on this and say this won't work. I'm not the manager, but I just want to see something different, and I'm trying something out here with Tommy Doyle and Paik.
Okay.
Left, I've gone for Dimmy Gray. Right, I've gone for Patrick Roberts. In the 10, I've gone for Dukes, if he's fit and if he's back, and Stano in the 9.
Yeah, okay. I don't think this is a game to drop Iwata. I think we need him in this game because they can be fairly physical, can't they, in the middle? I wouldn't do that in this game. I've gone for Doyle and Iwata. I think Doyle did enough in that hour, just under an hour he got against Sheffield Wednesday to show us that he...
Also, that Doyle showed us quite a bit of physicality.
Yeah. I think he will start. I believe he'll start, but of course...
No, I think he will, by the way. I think Iwata will start, but I want to see Paik and Doyle.
So I've gone for Doyle and Iwata in the 6s. I've gone for Gray on the left, Patrick Roberts on the right. Now, the difficulty is with our forwards because Stano could be injured. And then...
Oh, yes, I've picked Stano when he's injured, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Well, possibly. We don't know if he'll miss it.
Then if it wasn't him.
Yeah, but Dux as well...
could be injured
as well. So that all that leaves us with is Dykes and Kyogo.
Yeah. Where's Williamson? Injured?
He's still injured, yeah. And so's Keshi as well. Keshi's still injured as well. That's another. We've got loads of injuries. Williamson, Keshi, Laird, Bright, Stano. Dukes, yeah. And obviously we've still got lots of Buchanan and, players like that. So we've got a load of injuries. But we were told in the summer we would have a squad that would be able to cope with that.
Yeah.
The front line worries me. If Stano's out and Duxie's out, that only leaves Dykes and Kyogo. That leaves us lacking in...
That means Dykes would be in the 10, wouldn't it? And Kyogo would be in the 9.
It would have to be. It would have to be because...
how have we hit that point where that much injuries are stacked up?
And also, we're struggling to find a right back. Because this early in the season, after 8 games, this is what the team selection worries me. I mean, there is an argument to say that the likes of Fujimoto, who came on as a sub, but I don't think Chris Davies fancies him because he's been fit for a while and he's been on the bench, but he's not really came on at all. Mark Leonard did okay. Also, we got Kumas as well.
Kumas,
we got Kumas in the team as well. So,
he tried him in the 10 at Leicester and that didn't work either. So
no.
I would keep him on the. I mean, I think Kumas is bright. and he's quick. His final product isn't quite there yet. He's a bit raw, isn't he? But
Yeah.
I'm not against Kumas. I think he gets unwarranted flack, if I'm honest. But
No, he does. He does see what the thing about Kumas and what I've seen so far. He does all the hard work. He'll go around players. But his crossing's terrible, and that's not good, is it? So there's no point in going. You might as well not go around the players.
True.
But the forward line worries me because if Stano's injured, he did hobble off at the end as well, and Dutch as well. He had that niggle in the game before Coventry. We didn't see him against Sheffield Wednesday, so he's injured. That only leaves Dykes and Kyoga. We had one of our young lads on the bench against Sheffield Wednesday, so the shows were already short. But I thought we had too big a squad. But what Chris Davis has done clearly, the likes of who's it at the back, Samstead. He was named on the bench, but not even brought in when we could have been brought in as well. So I think there's certain players that Chris Davis has written off.
Coming back to my midfield, Dad, I mentioned about Tommy Doyle and Paik.
Yeah.
What might work as well for me, just me personally, Tommy Doyle and maybe Mark Leonard as well.
Yeah.
Because Mark Leonard gives you a bit of bite.
But it's whether Chris Davis is he brave enough to break up Paik and Iwata. He did against Sheffield Wednesday, to be fair.
I just don't think at the moment that Paik and Iwata partnership's working as effectively as it did in League One. So the reason I'm changing it and you're changing it is just to give us something fresh and new, isn't it? Because something needs to change. Well,
Paik and Iwata got steamrolled against Coventry.
Yeah, they weren't after.
And therefore Doyle comes in and did a good job when he was on against Sheffield Wednesday. And there was a lot of fans that were really surprised by Doyle coming off, but Chris Davis said it was because of a fitness issue. And but I think it will be Doyle and Iwata. I think in this game, I think you have to play Iwata. Whether he's on form or off form at the moment, in this game, I do think we need Iwata. We need him as the enforcer to break up the play.
You could say that in every game, though.
Yeah, you could do.
You could say you need an enforcer because a lot of midfields are physical in the Championship. Unless you try something, I'm not knocking you by the way, Dan. I think a lot of people will be saying Iwata in the middle, and that's fine. Everyone sees the game differently and entitled to
be interesting to see who he picks. But I think it's going to be literally who's available.
Yeah.
And pick
especially in the 10 and the 9.
Because it's like that now with so many. We must have about 8-9 players out injured already, and we're only 8 games in.
Yeah, physios are busy.
We will have Jack Robinson back from his suspension, which is something. But
I quite like that because keep them all up top. Clara and Jack Robinson will keep him quiet. They'll do a good job on him.
Yeah. Okay. So what about score prediction?
You go for that.
Right, okay. Now I'm going to get destroyed for this, but I with the way we're playing at the moment, and our lack of goal scoring, playing up against a quite confident Wrexham team, for the first time, I'm going to predict a defeat. I don't like doing that. I'm just giving my honest opinion about who we're playing with their team and how we're playing at the moment. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 defeat.
No goals.
Yeah, that's my worry. You see, particularly we've just discussed about what do we do with our forward line. I can't see us scoring, and I can see them scoring. So as much as it hurts me to do this, and it really hurts me, I think we're going to lose this game.
Well, we said that at the start when we made this podcast, we were always going to do it with honesty and transparency. Yeah. And you can't get knocked for your opinion. It's your opinion. I'm sure. Yeah. I guarantee in the comment section after this video, there'll be Blues fans saying that we'll lose this game as well. And
there'll be fans saying, "Well, what are you doing? Let's be confident." But obviously, we watch every game. We go to every game, and we see the reality of the way we're playing, the lack of ability to change system, and our lack of goal scoring threat against a team that are really, really confident. And it hurts me to do this. Honestly, it really hurts my heart to do this. But I actually think I can't see us winning the game.
I think if Davies sticks to his 4-2-3-1 and he doesn't adapt, and the injuries we have, so Dukes and Stansfield out, and Bright and Laird out, and we are getting light in various positions. It's hard not to see a Wrexham win, isn't it? Because we're light on the ground, we're low on confidence, our away form is poor. But at some point, our away form has to turn. It has to turn.
You would also counter-argue that Wrexham haven't won at home yet. But I just again, for all the factors, I'm not going to repeat them.
No.
I just can't see us. I can't see us getting anything out of this game.
I'll keep it short and sweet, and I completely respect your honesty and your opinion. And I would be lying if I said I'm not worried about this game and haven't thought about a defeat either. But I'm in the camp of we have to swing this round at some point. He's going to have them really fired up for this, and I'm not going for a Blues win. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I'm going for a repeat of
what happened last season.
And I think it'll be a similar game. I think they might pin us.
Yeah,
and it'll be tough to get out in this game. But I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic, I guess, and just go for a 1-1 draw. But I do appreciate your point of view on the score.
I'll have to, I'll get ready with my tin hat for the comments on the video about predicting that. But I'm just giving my honest opinion. I say honestly, it really hurts me to predict a loss, but
Is that the first loss? To be fair, Dad, we've been doing this podcast now 18 months, let's say, round it up to 18 months. That's the first defeat we both predicted.
Apart from when we started the podcast in the relegation season,
Right.
I think we're predicting losses all the time. But obviously last season we was in League One and we was expected to win every game, so it was hard not to predict either a win or a draw. But we're in a different league now, and we are going to lose games. We already are.
We are going to lose games, and this is a tough one.
Yeah,
this is a tough one. So
so that's my opinion anyway.
Fair enough. I would love to hear from you, Birmingham City supporters. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Maybe give us a score prediction. Maybe, as I said, give us your overview thoughts on the game. And if you're a Wrexham supporter, maybe you subscribed from last year's game, or maybe you've just seen your team on the thumbnail this first time. Please let us know your thoughts and comments in the section below as well. But we are a family podcast, so we do ask for those comments to be respectful and no foul and abusive language. We would really appreciate that. And if you did like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can watch and listen to us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.